Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is morning here in Northern Virginia, but we're on the internet, so it could be anytime, anywhere in the world, no doubt about it. And now, especially on Fridays, we have our super special guest and our lover of encouragement, lover of life, living life to her fullest, ladies and gentlemen, from Salman Realty, Miss Lesley. Salman, welcome to the
Hello. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing? You look fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
You just have a glow this morning. How's everything?
Well, I got up and I worked out, so maybe that's why.
There you go. That's always doesn't that always get the blood circulating, makes everything
Yes.
good. Yeah, no doubt. How was your workout? Was it good?
It was good. Yeah, I'm working out with a personal trainer, so it has to be.
That's
They're
awesome. I just
making
spilled
me.
on myself. Look at this.
It's
Let me scoot in so you can't see it. Anyway, how's your week been?
been good.
Good. Mine
Um,
sucked, but that's okay.
why?
I have gout in my. I had. I mean, it's pretty much gone now, so I'm happy. But like
Right.
Wednesday, couldn't walk. Period.
Hmm.
So much pain in the left foot that I just could not even walk. Even when I had to go to the doctor yesterday, even though it felt better a little bit. But it was excruciating on Wednesday. I mean, it was bad on Tuesday, excruciating on Wednesday. I mean, I was laid up all day. I could not,
Right.
literally could not walk on it. Couldn't put any pressure whatsoever. And then I couldn't also like lift it off the ground. If I put it down on the ground, it hurt. And then when I went to try and lift it up, the swelling, I guess, in the foot just would just expand and just every nerve ending. It was horrible. It was horrible.
Hmm. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of the drawbacks of all these, um, transplant meds that I have to take
Yeah.
rest of my life. But I'm alive. I'm seeing people like
Yes,
you.
yes, you're
I'm so
alive.
happy to have
That's all
friends
that
like you,
matters.
Leslie. It does. It is
I'm
all
so
that
happy to be
matters.
here.
I'm so happy that you are. It makes my day. It does, and it makes my week. Let's talk about you. How was your week this week?
It was good.
Did you sell 4 or 5 houses?
I sold one. I sold one house. Yeah, and
That's great.
yeah, I've a lot of cool stuff happened. Working on another project where Going Gainesville is getting involved in becoming a production company.
Mm,
Um, so we are doing videos and things like that for people and helping people like market because the biggest
yeah,
problem or challenge I would say that people have is okay, you can go out and hire a videographer to do a cool video for you, but where are you going to put it?
yeah,
You don't
yeah.
have any audience. So what we're doing is saying like, okay, you need to, if you want to do marketing here, we'll hook you up with a video, we'll hook you up with the commercial, and then we'll help you post it because we'll put it on Going Gainesville. Like obviously it would be a local business, but we have the audience too, so it's kind of like all rolled into
Hmm.
one. We have the
Right.
platform, and now we're also doing like not only just Going Gainesville videos, but we could do a Going Gainesville video for you, and then we could also do like extra videos, and then we were able to secure a studio facility, a 12,000 square foot
Wow.
warehouse.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're working on stuff with that. So it's like super super duper exciting.
Sounds
Tons of
great.
stuff. I gave a keynote address that I was pretty happy with the way it turned out on Tuesday about emotional intelligence to my networking group, and just a lot of ideas and a lot of
Tell me about emotional intelligence.
well, it's basically emotional intelligence. It's really personal growth. It's really just something that you have to do for you. I mean, I could you can teach it all day long, but it's like your staff and things like that. But at the end of the day, if you don't personally have it and you're
Right.
not
You have to model
emulating
it,
it and
right?
modeling it in your life, then it's
Hmm.
it doesn't do any good to teach your staff.
Right.
But it's just basically a lot of stuff that a lot of I talked about different steps that you can take to increase your awareness with emotions and things of that nature. I gave 18 steps. I won't give
Wow.
you all of them, but
I
I'll give
mean,
you.
are your 18 steps, or is this something
They're a
you're
compilation a
okay?
compilation of things that I found online, and then one would be my step, which is my favorite, personal favorite, and that is also I mean, I think in some communities they would call it shadow work. What I call it is mindful trigger tracing. um
Mindful trigger tracing. Interesting.
yeah, and basically just
Example.
what it is anytime I have I'm trying not to use the words good and bad and right and wrong that often anymore, but like if I have an emotion that comes up within me that I don't feel is serving my greatest good,
Hmm.
then I will trace back, like, what is it about this emotion?
Yeah, what brought that on?
What brought it on? And you
Mm.
trace it back through, and
Hmm.
then you're
Hmm.
able to and I'll tell you, every single time it's going to be traced to um it's going
Let's
to be
not
traced
mention
to a
any.
limiting belief or societal conditioning.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
and what I told people it is, I'm like, it's self-compassion. It's
Yeah.
seeing that you're suffering and
Right.
doing something about it.
Right.
You're not
Right.
just sitting there going, oh, every time this happens, I get so mad. No, well, no, I don't want to get mad anymore. I
Right.
don't want, so you'll trace it back. And most of the time you're like, oh, it's because when I was a little kid, this is how this made me feel.
Sure.
And then you can kind of, once you identify it, it's almost like, and then you bring it into the light. That's really all there is to do.
Right.
There's not a lot of like, oh, let me work through these emotions or anything. You just don't realize it's there anymore.
Right. There's a the church I used to go to used to have a, and it was a somewhat of a cleansing deal with a couple people who were facilitators, and not particularly sins of the father, which is a biblical precept, that wears on you as you're doing stuff, um, through your life, things that had started, but it's more like historical, not
No,
necessarily
it,
sins
it
of the
is
father,
it's
right?
generational trauma, and it is
Right.
and that's what that's referring to. So it's basically, you know, a lot of times you'll I mean, I'm sure we've talked about this before, but you're 2 years old and your parents say something or they do
Hmm.
something,
Hmm. Hmm.
and then you just either pick up what they do, the way they handled something, but maybe
Right.
the way they
Right.
handled it wasn't correct because they're humans.
Yes.
Um,
Right. It was absolutely. There's no right. It's just identifying where it's coming from. No
yeah,
blame laid anywhere, just saying, okay, now that I know where it's coming from, I can remove that aspect to my
yes,
best of my. Well, see, that's the other thing, too. We're not always equipped to remove that aspect, and that's where in the church level, you come and you identify it, and then you pray for it, and you pray about, let's see if we can take this, help, Lord, take this from my life. Now that I've identified what it was that's been causing this, trauma or whatever, even if it's a little thing throughout our lives, help me to take that away. I mean, I can tell you that's how I quit smoking, at least a couple times. Anyway, no, was because I
well,
just said, what? I don't
I
want
will
this
say,
anymore. You've made the promise to me that if I give you my burden, you will take it.
oh
And
yeah, and I quit
so,
smoking and drinking. Well,
right,
vaping. I didn't smoke.
whatever, right. I understand what you're saying, though,
I
but it was
did that too.
a
See,
vice that you,
so
that
much
you
has
had.
happened.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and over my life, of course, there's lots of these things. And it's inner peace kind of, I can't even remember what the program is called, but it was really cool. And then men did men and women did women. And it wasn't because there was a difference. There was no, it's just that women understand women's issues more
Yeah,
than
maybe
men
there's
do.
just like
And
personal
they've had those
preference.
experiences, right? It wasn't a women, that's not the kind of church I went to, where
Right.
men are here and women are here or whatever. We're all together. However, on the counseling level, a
Yeah.
lot of women feel much more comfortable with a women counselor. I could care less. For me, I mean, I've seen male counselors. I don't know that I've ever seen a female counselor, but I wouldn't care.
Yeah,
Wouldn't bother
I'm
me.
trying to think. I had a really weird. It's reminding me of something. I had somebody ask me. There was some service that I got done recently, and they asked me if I wanted a man or a woman, and I was like,
A massage?
why would anyone think that they would need it? Like, it was just now it's gonna drive me crazy.
It
It
wasn't a
was just
massage.
really bizarre. Like,
It was a weird thing, huh?
it never crossed my mind that you would care.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but in your instance, yes, like there are certain topics that like women are gonna feel more comfortable talking to other women about and things like that.
And they're going to have issues that well, I know that you guys have secrets from men. So there's certain
Yes.
things that you women can't talk to men about because it's against the law or something. You can, you guys you have the women's secrets that only women can talk about. Whereas we're just too dumb to have those. So guys, we just share, whatever. We just do whatever. No, I'm kidding. Of course. But emotional intelligence, I really vibe with when you said that, because I think that that's very important for us to have the ability to not only know about our own emotions, but to be able to recognize emotions. And when something's emotional, when someone you're dealing with, and you realize that, and I feel like I have a really strong gift of discernment, which is very similar to emotional intelligence, I think. In other words, I can identify typically, and I don't share this with people because then they go, "What, have you been watching me for the last?" No, I have not been stalking you. I'm just getting a vibe, that this.
Well, a lot of times, and you're right, a lot of times to me, I feel like, well, some people, and this is just my thought process, but I think some people identify it as a vibe, but it's really more than a vibe.
It is. That's the only word I use.
You've never brought it full circle out into the conscious awareness of where you're getting the vibe, but it's coming from somewhere.
Yes.
And like I can like I've told, it's sometimes I'm afraid to share my video because I'm like, I hope my ex doesn't watch it because I share examples from him. But I don't think they're bad. Like, we've actually talked before that he and I should do a show on co-parenting. And it's not that we get along perfect. I mean, we'll yell and scream at each other still, but like, I can tell by the way he's acting and what he's doing that he's not aware of something. Because if he was, he wouldn't be doing it.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Yes, of course. You have a high opinion of him, and you know the kind of man he can be, and you know that if he's not being that there's something wrong.
Yes, if anything, it's a compliment.
Absolutely.
Yep. So like, and then that makes me like, I'll get really passionate about wanting him to see just be able to not see things my way, but be able to see something from a different perspective, because I'm like, no, this isn't about me. And it's not about you. It's about our kid.
Right.
So like, if I'm saying to you, oh, when he's over at your house, I don't think he should be doing this or that anymore, because when he comes over here, like for instance, our latest thing was he was watching a show over at his house about, it had to do with ghosts. It wasn't anything bad.
Yeah.
He was just getting scared over at my house. So I was like, I was like to my ex wouldn't know he was getting scared at my house. We have a different dynamic here. We don't have other kids here. It's just him. It's me and my parents and him. So, but over at my ex's house, they've got other kids. So like if he's around, if it's dark and he's running around the house in the dark, he's got other kids. He's not scared. But when he's here and I'm in my room, my parents are in their room, he's scared to like sometimes go get a drink or something out of their kitchen, and it's like 7:00 at night. So at first my ex he felt like I was attacking his parenting. I'm like, no, I don't think you're doing anything wrong. I'm like, I just want to, if I didn't tell you that there was an issue over here, you wouldn't know.
Right. Exactly. And you just need to understand that maybe your son's not at a level where he needs to be watching that kind of input or having that kind of input, because
and other kids can handle it.
Right, exactly. And he'll be able to someday, and if he doesn't, Okay, and if he can't handle it someday, he'll know not to watch those shows
And
on
that's
his own.
me.
You're right. You know
Like
what I
I
mean?
used to watch a lot of. I used to love watching, like, begging my parents to let me watch, like, Nightmare on Elm Street and all
That's the
that
one
stuff.
movie. No, thank you.
And
Mm-mm.
after a while, I
Scared
was
the
literally
living crap out of me.
I would walk around my house at night by myself, and I'm like, 13, 14, and I would literally carry a pillow with me like this just in case someone tried to stab me in the heart. It would have to go through the pillow too. After a while, I was like, wait, why am I watching these
Of course, if I was
shows?
your
I'm
big brother, I'd say,
terrified.
you realize the pillow will collapse and the knife's still going to go
Right.
into you, right?
Hey, I think you should applaud the effort.
Sure, absolutely. I'd be like, why are you carrying a pillow? Well, if somebody stabs me. I said, no, the pillow will collapse though. And you'd be like, you know what? I didn't need that input. That's the kind of stuff I used to do to my sister too. She would think she had this great idea, and then I would look at it logically and say, but what happens if this happens?
Well, I knew it
Lady!
wasn't I knew it wasn't logical, but it was better than anything else I could come up with.
No, I understand. No, I get it. I'm sure I had many of my own illogical ways of doing things that just didn't make sense. But luckily, I grew up with a dad, that made me look at things from a logical, point of view, very military esque. Look at it and address it head on, and look at all the caveats and whatever. I mean,
Right.
he's a very good investigator. My dad was. So, it helped me. I always investigated everything, every thought process I had or that other people had. I would investigate theirs and go, yeah, here's the flaw in that attitude, And sometimes that wasn't the greatest thing. Also, watching movies, I typically know who the hell the protagonist is right out the box.
Right.
And I say, oh, that guy's her sister, her brother. And like, what? What are you talking about? Sure enough, at the end of the movie, oh, you're my brother, and everybody's like, damn it, Lee, So those are the kind of things, I just kind of pick up on those kind of things. And that's just always been the way it was for me growing up. And you can pick up on those things, back to emotional intelligence. I think, to me, that's what that means to me, is that you can pick up on these things in your own life as well as in the lives of those that you love and care about, and sometimes that you just see in the marketplace. Say, oh, hi, Karen. And you can do those kind of things without even thinking about it.
And it's understanding as opposed to judgment. It's not about
Exactly.
It's not like to be like, oh, you're a bad
judgment.
person.
It's about understanding. Exactly.
Yeah, to see where they're coming from and be like, oh, that's not anything that I should be being offended about. They're coming at it from this point of view. Yeah.
Like when someone's like working I used to always tell people, working as a referee or an umpire. I think I never was an umpire, but referee, also working security in a school setting, you encounter kids who are in real bad places, and they need to lash out at somebody. You can't take it personally,
right?
So when I do kind of training, I wasn't a trainer per se as far as security. I think that I could be, but I never got into that. But I think telling people, I've told my other colleagues when they come in, they're pissed off and they just had a big yelling match with a kid or something like that. I'm like, dude, don't ever have a yelling match with a kid. I think this 8 years or 9 years that I worked for Fairfax County in a security setting, I think 2 times I yelled at a kid. And both of them were actually kids who were so entrenched in their gang mentality that I felt like I had to just scream at them, and it made me feel bad. But
sometimes you have to yell to get somebody's attention. It's not because you're mad.
Yeah. No, I can get loud to get someone's attention, but there's a difference between, and people think I'm yelling, but there's a difference for me between being loud and yelling. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yelling is a whole nother emotional place, as opposed to just being loud to make everyone hear you and understand that serious things are happening. I mean, that's how I break up fights. I get right down into where the fight is and I go, stop, really loud, and believe it or not, the kids are like, whoa,
Yeah, no, I
And
believe
then
it.
we've got them, and it has stopped. I'm not grabbing kids, I'm not yanking anybody or anything like that, or screaming at them. I don't get angry. Very rarely do I get angry, and that's where the yelling comes from. If I'm
Right.
loud, I'm loud, but I'm not angry. If I'm angry and loud, that's called yelling.
Right,
And
right.
I don't. I try my best not to get angry. It really actually also annoys the people really close to me because my daughter, she says, "I know you're mad at me." I'm like, "I'm not mad at you." Yes, you are.
That's what I know.
You
I get
want me
that
to be
all
mad
the
at
time.
you?
I get
You
that all the time from my son. I'm like, and I've really changed a lot of, my parenting style to like, I don't even anymore say like you're being punished or consequences. It's just like, oh, well, if you're doing this, that means you don't know how to do that. So let me teach you
right.
how.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's the end of
And we've
it. And
talked
I'm
about
like,
that before.
yeah, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, well, if you're doing these things at school and they're getting you in trouble, I know you don't want to be getting in trouble. So
Right.
let me teach you how to not get in trouble. And then he sees it as like a positive, like, oh, I'm happy. My
Exactly.
mom's that's really
Right. Right.
the
Right.
end of it now.
And I think my daughter is, very much the same way. My wife and I were just talking about the fact that over the years we've gotten several different, everyone loves my daughter. She's a wonderful young lady. She's very assertive. She's very, what is the lady, one of the teachers when she was in elementary school said that my daughter was, um, actually one time, one of the teachers she had said my daughter was aggressive. And then one of the things they also said was she was bossy. That's what it was, bossy.
Oh,
And my wife goes, "Well, I prefer to call that leadership potential."
yeah.
You know,
It's so true. It's just,
you know,
and
and
that's
it's
the
true
power.
because she's the
That's the
leader of her
power of
clique.
words.
Yes, she is like, for instance, coming up this weekend, starting tonight, or no, started last night actually. Dr. Doolittle, the middle school play. She's the student director from the high school. She's the student director of the middle school play, Dr. Doolittle at Lake Braddock High School. And my son is actually Dr. Doolittle. So he's got the lead, but it's a split lead. So last night, Sammy was the lead, Dr. Doolittle. Tonight, it'll be Ben. Tomorrow afternoon at 2, it'll be Ben. It's only $10, people. So it's a great money. Let me tell you
Yeah.
something. These middle school programs are incredible.
Oh, I know. The school stuff, it's so
Unbelievable.
fun to go to.
There's
Or
90
colleges.
kids involved in this program, in this show. And how it's all, and Madeline is the one. I mean, obviously, Miss Mitchell who my daughter just absolutely adores and has since 7th grade. But and that's why she's the assistant or the student director, is because Miss Mitchell just absolutely adores my daughter, and that's just how that works. So
Right.
it's going to be a great. I can't wait. I'm going tomorrow afternoon because tonight
Awesome.
Lake Braddock is hosting a playoff football game at the school. So that's going to be a cluster,
Oh,
unbelievable
yeah.
cluster. Yeah, and so I'm going tomorrow afternoon at 2 to see, and my son will be, being the lead. And my wife's
Awesome.
volunteering, so she's there at every single show.
Right, right.
So there's me rattling around the house, no one at home because my daughter's directing, my son's involved, and my wife's
That's
helping,
awesome.
and I'm sitting there at home going.
My daughter was in a lot of plays and things like that, and she's actually changing her major now at GMU from like it was like international type, I
Business or
don't know.
something.
And now she's in film. She switched to film.
Nice,
So I was
nice.
like, Chloe, guess what I'm doing? I'm like, I was telling her all about the
You
like
don't want anything
media
part
and
of it, does she?
production stuff and the like building that we got. And I was like, when it's all done, I'm gonna have you come out. She was like super excited. So I was
Oh,
like,
that's good. I'm glad. My kids don't get excited at anything that I do. So kind of they do. It's the one they don't want anybody to know they're excited about it. But
right.
yeah, that's the kind of thing. But your daughter's also older, so
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I can see my daughter in college like having her own radio station. I keep
Yeah, that
telling
would
her,
be cool.
I'm like, you should have your own radio show with your friends. You can use my studio, and she's like going, "Oh, Dad," but she'll watch TikTok all day and make TikToks with her friends. I'm like,
Well,
you could
see,
just
she's
do that on
already
the
in
radio.
production.
Exactly. All right, I'm keeping my word. 10:30 is our cutoff, and
Yeah,
that's
I
what
gotta
time
be
it is.
somewhere at 11. So it
All
was
right. Well,
great.
you
Thank
are
you.
wonderful, Miss Salman. I love you. Thank you
Love
so
you
much.
too.
As always, I think we had a good show today, and I
We
can't wait
did.
till next week. And anytime you want to hop on the radio show, even driving down the road, something comes to your mind or whatever, and download, as I say to everybody out there, download the Live 365 app on your phone, and you can listen to the radio show from that's on live. It's on all the time, 24/7, but it's on live with me from 11 to 3 every day.
Okay, cool.
And I would love for you to listen. And if you hear me say something stupid or something good, you can call in and say, "What in the hell are you talking about, Lee?" And we can just chat on the radio. It'd be fun.
All right.
All right.
Sounds
All
like a
right.
plan.
All right.
Well, have a great weekend.
You do the
Oh, and
same.
are we doing this on next Friday?
Oh, I don't know. What do you? No, I will be. I will probably be down at Lake of the Woods
Okay.
in Virginia. I think. I mean, I know we're
Well,
going down there
enjoy
for
it. That
Thanksgiving,
place
but
is
I think we're probably
awesome.
spending the night because we'll all be, on our tryptophan comas.
Yeah, well, have a great Thanksgiving then, and then we'll
You
just do it the
too.
following Friday.
Well, I'm thankful for you.
And I'm
So
thankful
thank
for you
you,
too.
Lesley. You're awesome. Give your boy a hug,
I
and
will.
God bless you, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Have a great weekend this weekend.
Thanks. You too. All right. Talk to you
All
guys
right.
later.
Peace out, kiddo.
All right.
Take care.
Bye.
See ya.